Good morning, and thanks for clicking on the video for this walk around and first impressions review of the new 2021 Ducati Multistrada V4S Sport full edition. The plan was to get out and have a ride this morning, however the weather's pretty miserable. It's raining and windy out there, so I thought I'd grab the camera, do a quick walk around and maybe talk through some of the sort of first impressions of the bike, and with any luck the weather will brighten up and I'll be able to get out this afternoon and have some fun on it. I've only done about 200 miles so far, so it really is a sort of first impressions review. However, I have had previous Multistradas with the 1200S and the 1200 Enduro, which were 2016 and 2017 year models. So I've got some sort of experience for comparison in relation to the bike. But I'll grab the camera, we're going to have a walk around, I'll show you the sports livery and some of the accessories that come with the Sport Edition, and I can talk you through my first impressions of the bike and how it differs to previous Multistradas. So I'll grab the camera and we'll have a look around the bike. So I've grabbed the camera, I'll just have a little walk around the bike. So this is the Ducati Multistrada V4S Sport full edition. So it comes with all the accessory packs and comes with the extras that the Sport bring you. So the V4 and the V4S come with two colour schemes, which is the Ducati Red and the Aviator Grey. And the main difference with the Sport edition is the livery that it comes with, and it also comes with this carbon fibre front mud fender, which is a nice touch. But the livery itself is the main difference between the V4S and the V4S Sport. Don't think you get any difference in relation to performance or any other accessories on the bike. So the livery itself is sort of the distinctive white and grey that runs across the tank, and it follows it right round towards where the seat is. Kind of has a bit of a Union flag effect on it, which it's particularly nice. I think it's a nice colour scheme and it does look good. I think the bike itself looks absolutely stunning, to be honest. It looks better in reality than it does on the videos and on some of the pictures I've seen. So I am mega impressed with the bike. The options itself, I went for the alloy wheel option. It does come with spoked wheels, which you can pay an additional cost for, depending on what your sort of preference is. Some of the other accessories that I got for the bike is I went for the carbon fibre rear mudguard as well, just to sort of tie in the front. I think that's quite a pricey extra. I think it was a couple £100, but it ties it in nicely and it does look good. I've also gone for the carbon screen, which I haven't fitted yet. The carbon screen itself sat there waiting to go on. Basically what I'm waiting for is these wind deflectors, which are currently clear on the bike at the moment. They don't do them in carbon, but they do it in a sort of real heavy tint. They're not in stock at the moment, so I just want to darken that full front end up, see what it looks like. So I'm waiting for them to come into stock before I put the screen on. I've also gone for, I fitted the auxiliary lights, which are quite small, quite subtle. I don't do a lot of riding at night, to be honest, but it's nice to have them there if I do end up on the roads at night, or if I just want to be seen on the roads a bit more clearly. I'm not sure whether this will come up or not, but I did go for the Ducati oil radiator guard, which again is just a nice little touch. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all the accessories that I've gone for at the moment. It does come with the full luggage, which you might be able to see on the floor there behind, so I'll do a video or I'll include images of the bike with the luggage on, just to get you a bit of an idea as to what it looks like. I appreciate it's a bit dark in here. It's probably not the best lighting to try and do a video, but it's pretty miserable outside, so I'm just hiding in the garage. But what I'll do is I'll put my helmet on. We'll open the garage up and I'll brave the elements and we'll go for a ride, and I'll just talk you through some of my first impressions of this bike. What I like about it, and some of the things that I've been surprised by. There's not many, and a bit of a spoiler is I absolutely love this bike. My first impressions of it is that I'm mega impressed with it. But there are a couple of things which I think I'd like to maybe change on it, or I'd like to see Ducati do some updates on. But we'll talk about that when we're out on the road. So I'll see you out there. Well, as you can see, we're back in the garage. That didn't go as planned, unfortunately. I had every intention of sort of talking you through my impressions whilst riding the bike, but I couldn't get the microphone to work on my helmet, so I had no comms. So never mind, plan B. I'll talk to you obviously from the sort of comfort of the garage, and just talk to you around the sort of my first impressions still, and what I like about the bike, and what I hope they might update, or I might look to change over the time. So, I mean, there's plenty of reviews online, and I'm sure you'll read up on them. But this bike is absolutely cram-packed with tech. It's got all the things you'd expect on a modern bike, with the different rider modes and the sort of power modes that you can get. It's cornering ABS on it, traction control and anti-wheelie. It's got cornering lights. It's got the hill assist, which is a nice little feature if you're carrying sort of extra weight or pillions and things like that. It's got self-cancelling indicators, which again comes in handy, nice little safety feature. It does have the quick shifter up and down, which is mega smooth. It's got the keyless ignition. Doesn't have the keyless fuel cap, unfortunately. That's an additional extra, but it's still like nice having the keyless ignition. So this new Multistrada does have this Ducati Connect, which is the computer sort of integration with your phone, which allows you to connect your phone to the bike and have sat-nav using this Cygic sat-nav app. It'll allow you to control your music through your phone. So certainly if you've got a sort of a comms kit or a headset on, you can listen to your music and control that through the bike and through your switchgear. You can accept and make phone calls. It's a really good system when it's up and working. It's got some teething problems, and I hope they're just teething problems. There's talk that Ducati might end up putting out an update just to try and fix some of the bugs with that. The main bug with it being that it's a bit of a faff, bit of a sequence of setting it up through your phone and through the bike itself. Once it's up and running, that's fine. Unfortunately, once you switch the bike off, if you're going to fuel up or you're stopping for a short break or something, everything will power down. You have to go back through that sequence again, and I think that can cause a bit of frustration. It certainly causes me some frustration. The sat-nav's spot on. You cannot route plan on it, and I think that's due to the software that they use. So you can put your A to B in, but you cannot sort of plan a route as such with sort of waypoints. Hopefully that's something that I'll look to improve on with a software update. The other main talking point of this bike obviously is the adaptive cruise control. You've got cruise control as you have on other Multistradas, which is operated by a switchgear again up here, but it now has the additional feature of having the adaptive cruise control, which is a really nice feature. I used it for the first time a couple of days ago on my way back from work. It runs on the sensors. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I suppose they're going to put the sensors somewhere. Might be blinded by the headlight there, but you've got a sensor on the front, and as it does with car technology, basically, is aware of its surroundings, and it'll monitor the distance between you and the car in front of it, and you can change that distance using your controls, and it'll speed up or decelerate or accelerate accordingly. It's also as part of that system, which is a really nice safety feature, and I really like this. It's got a rear radar, and that's just for your blind spot detection, which again, absolutely, it's technology that's come across from cars, but it's really, really good to see it coming into motorbikes. When something's approaching you in the sort of near side or offside blind spot, you've got little lights on your wing mirrors here, which will go amber, just as a sort of visual alert that there's something in your blind spot. That's obviously really good safety feature there. The other big change, obviously, is the V4 engine. It's 1158cc now, 170 brake horsepower, I think. Not sure of the figures of the torque, but it's got plenty of it. It's a really smooth engine. I've obviously ridden the 1200s. I've never ridden the 1260 engine, but the 1200s. But this V4 is really smooth. I'm kind of restricted to the amount of RPM I can put through at the moment, just due to sort of bedding it in. But you can tell there's going to be bags of power, and I'm led to believe that the power through the full rev range is definitely there. What I do notice at lower speeds though with this V4 engine is how smooth it is. It's like I say, real smooth at those lower speeds, and it sits really comfortably when you're doing your 30 and 40 mile an hour, which is nice. I know my previous Multistradas have never been fully comfortable going at that speed. What else is there? The sort of riding position, the comfort of the bike. I'm 6'2". I've got the standard seat on it, although it's in the higher mode. I suppose it's a sort of standard or lower or higher mode on the seat. I've got it on the higher one, and it sits absolutely fine with me. I don't have a problem with the size of the bike at all. I have had a couple of friends on the bike who are slightly smaller in stature than me, and again they've had it on the lower seat and they've had absolutely no problems with it. It is a big bike, but it's like I say, it's absolutely manageable, and it is mega comfortable. So riding position, as you'd expect with a sort of the type of bike it is, a sport tourer bike, is you're upright. It's very comfortable, and you're going to be able to clock up the miles on that, no problem. The screen, I've got the standard screen at the moment. I mentioned before that I've got the racing screen to go on. Another purchase I might actually make is to get the touring screen. It's approximately an inch or two, a bit bigger or taller, to give you a little bit more protection if you're sort of touring around with it. But as a standard stock screen, I've been quite impressed, to be honest. Like I say, I'm 6'2". I wear the RI X4 Tour helmet with a visored peak on it. I don't get any wind buffeting at all from that, so it's really nice to see. What they have done with the screen is it's mega easy now to adjust on the fly. It's just one hand, so that's I mean, I'm doing it with one finger. Absolutely spot on that. Just little things like that. It's good attention to detail. The Ducati Connect app, I sort of mentioned that before, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. It's just to show you how to sort of the sequence of setting your phone up and getting it to work with your music. I think once you learn the sequence and get it set up correctly, then it does work. It's just like I say, a bit frustrating. Another big change with the new Multistrada V4 is the 19-inch front wheel. I was a bit worried about this. I've come obviously from the previous Multistradas, which are 17-inch, and they handle really well. I wasn't sure how this 19-inch was going to handle, but it's I've noticed a difference at all. It's the way they've got it set up. It corners and handles absolutely brilliantly. The only downside I can see, or I've read that some people are a little bit upset about the sort of tyre choices that you're going to be able to make. Certainly if you want to do track days and things like that, having that 19-inch front wheel might restrict you on some of your tyre options. But like I say, for me, it hasn't affected handling at all. This thing's, like I say, really sharp and tight in the corners, and the sort of the weight around distribution of the bike handles really well. Really impressed. I think one of the only other things left to mention is probably the fuel consumption. It's a thirsty bike. It's definitely to say that. It's a big sort of 1200 V4, 170 brake horsepower bike, so it's going to like the fuel, and it does. I think on my first full tank, which is a 22 litre tank, got just about 140 miles out of it. So it's not mega economical, which I wouldn't expect it to be, but it's definitely a thirsty bike. I may find that I get better miles per gallon or sort of better fuel economy as the bike sort of settles in. I'm taking them figures as well with the fact that I'm not going over 6,000 RPM, so it's not like I'm riding this bike hard at all. So yeah, early impressions is it's a real thirsty bike, and that may be a bit of an issue. Well, not an issue, but it's something I'm going to have to factor in when I'm doing longer distances and touring, that I'm going to be stopping for fuel quite a bit. I say it's got a 22 litre tank on it, and the range says from that 22 litres that you're going to get over 200 miles per tank, but that's what it says. It's certainly not what I'm going to be getting. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind, I suppose. But I guess in summary, I mean, I love the look of the bike. It definitely looks good. It's one of them ones that I think definitely does look better when you're with it. It handles really well. It's got bags of performance. I'm looking forward to being able to go above 6,000 RPM, mind, to fully test that. The build quality of the bike, I kind of knock it so far. It's early days, but the build quality of the Ducati, as you'd expect, is absolutely brilliant. And that sort of smooth V4 engine is really nice with a quick shifter. It's let's say a real smooth ride. Only downsides and negatives I've found so far is mentioned the fuel economy. It's like sort of annoyance, I guess. The Ducati app, which I hope they really do sort out, and I think they probably will. There's enough people going on about that. The other thing, the cost of the bike, overall bike, there is other options out there. The KTM Super Adventure and the GSs and the 1000 XRs, etc. It's an expensive bike. This, like you say, when you spec it up, it's not a cheap bike, but I suppose sometimes you get what you pay for, and if you like your Ducatis, then that's you've just got to bite that bullet, unfortunately. The only other sort of downside with the bike, well, it's not a downside as such, but sort of negative of recent with it is in relation to the engine recall, and that shouldn't affect anybody buying a new bike. It's unfortunately those who have had the bike previously, where a number of bikes have been recalled to get new engines put in, which isn't good. But like I say, that shouldn't affect or won't affect new purchases and new orders going in. It was all to do with a substandard quality on a valve return rod, I think, or something to do with the valve returns. Ducati have dealt with that. They say it's fully rectified, and to be fair to them, they're either given customers a brand new bike or willing to put a new engine in. They're giving them sort of a really good compensation. So you've got to take some sort of confidence from that Ducati have dealt with that really well. New bikes, they're going to have teething problems, but I do feel sorry for those customers who have just taken receipt of theirs and then lost it. Or certainly delayed in getting it. So yeah, so that sort of sums up my sort of initial impressions and sort of very quick review of this bike. My plan is to actually get me comms kit working on my helmet, and we'll get out on a ride, and I'll talk to you further about the bike. But thanks very much for watching. If you do like this video, subscribe, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or any sort of questions or feedback in the comments would be much appreciated. Sort of my first effort at having a go at vlogging. Definitely not as easy as it looks. So yeah, look forward to seeing you on the next one.